Welcome back to the URC podcast with your hosts, Rebecca and Nicole. This is our second episode, and we are so excited to continue our mission of inspiring and empowering fellow students at the University of Arizona by highlighting voices of leadership, resilience, and community impact. Today, we are so excited that we are joined by an incredible guest, Alex, the founder of Aspiring Latino Lawyers, a student-led initiative that started right here at the University of Arizona and has now expanded to the Arizona State University. Today we're going to talk about what inspired Alex to launch this movement, the importance of civic engagement, and why representation in law and politics truly matters, from serving as communications chairs for the Pima County Democratic Party to navigating the challenges of student leadership. Alex brings powerful insights, experience, and advice for anyone ready to make a difference. Alex, we are so excited to have you once again, and before we begin, we just want to know what truly inspired you to take on this journey here at the University of Arizona.
Yeah, no problem. Also, I want to say, guys, thank you again for having me on this. Also, too, I think it's very important to uplift community voices to students, because I remember myself, and this kind of goes into the first question to what you're saying.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do some kind of social good. I wasn't sure what it was. I grew up very close to my great-grandmother, and she would always be saying, try to make some positive change. Big or small, just try to make a positive impact on people's lives.
Yeah.
And so the more involved I got, I started studying poli-sci. I actually started engineering at the U of A at first, and I was like, this is not it.
This is not for me.
No, it was not for me. My brother, although he's just finished his first year in engineering, props to him. He loves it. It's his thing. It's just not for me. So not knocking any engineers, but also too, I found myself more and more intrigued with politics, specifically trying to get more people involved in voting in general. But that led to me kind of looking at institutions like the parties, how law actually works. So my intent was actually to go to law school initially. My junior year, I took a course with Dr. Frank Gonzalez. I highly recommend him. Really great professor. But he talked about the fact that only 5% of Latinos in the U.S. make up the total lawyer population. But we're the second largest demographic in the nation. And so I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
When I was in engineering, there was a program called SHIP, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. And I was like, I wonder if there's something like that for law students, for Latino law students. No, there wasn't.
Yeah.
There was the Latino Law Student Association, but it was for graduate students. And so I didn't know where to begin. I had so many different questions. I never started a club on my own, so it was a huge, daunting task. But I really relied on my family. Shout out to my sister. She was the first Latino student body president. She's very powerful. And she believed in me. And that, I was like, okay, this is a good idea. Because at first I was like, aspiring Latino lawyers. That doesn't. Do you think that sounds goofy or corny or anything like that? And she's like, no, I think it's a really good idea. I was like, would you want to be my VP by any chance? But that's what led to it, was identifying the fact that my community wasn't being represented correctly in the legal field, and wanting to actually try to empower other students and find other students who also felt kind of alone. I found that a lot of the Latino students felt alone on campus. And so I wanted to give them a home, a community of sorts. Sorry, that was long-winded.
So when did you start, when in your junior year or your freshman year?
Of getting politically?
No, with the club and everything.
With the club, I started my junior year. I started by getting involved. My first club was college gyms, but also I joined student radio. I was on Camp Radio. Shout out to Camp Radio. I don't know if you guys have been to Camp Radio or not. They have live radio shows. You can commentate on the games and stuff. But it was my junior year that I got more involved. And then my senior year, I got involved with student government from there on too.
And I have a question, so far, have you seen any impact around you or with the students that you're involved with?
I think for me, the most direct impact I ever saw, and actually the fact that UAL's still around, and I graduated 2 years ago. That is amazing to me. That's a testament. And I wanted to be bigger than me, and I want Aspiring Latino Lawyers to still be bigger than me. And so the fact that it's still around, I'm so happy about that. I'm grateful, and it's given a home to a lot of other Latinos on this campus. Sorry, going back to you were saying, when did I get involved? It was my junior year, I would say.
That's so inspiring.
As someone who's deeply involved in the community, not only in Tucson but also in the college, You served as a communications chair at Pima County, which is such an incredible opportunity. What drives you? What drives your passion for civic engagement?
I would say my family's always been engaged. My family has been here before this was a state, before statehood, and so our roots run deep. But we always understood voting was important, especially back then. When like my great grandma, there wasn't a lot of power for Latinos back then, or just people of color in general. But one of the little ways they could show their power or try to use their voice was voting, and so they would drive their neighbors to voting stations all the time. But they really instilled in us that this matters. And so my mom would sit me down when I was little for to watch debates. I had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah.
But the fact that I was learning through all of that. And so that to me is always, I think the fact that for a lot of Black and brown communities, to me, voting and using your voice and advocacy is one of the strongest things you could do, I think. And so to me, it's always been important, especially as a Latino, as a brown person in this country.
Yeah.
So I know leadership comes with a lot of challenges. As you were a student, basically, and then you're leading a club, and then you're a chair for a Pima County Democratic Party. And so what challenges did you face as a student leader, and when you were advocating, how did you overcome those challenges while balancing your schedule as a student and also your leadership roles?
I think the most common thing I ran with anyone who was in student government or any kind of leadership clubs, I'm sure you guys have run into the same things, because you also seem very involved yourselves as well. It's balancing schoolwork with a lot of the extracurriculars that you end up taking on, but they feel important. The extracurriculars feel important. Student government to me was important. Aspiring Latino Leaders was important. It was as important as my projects were. And so managing those tasks and organizing that, and that's something I'm still working on today. And you'll meet any organizer or anyone in the political world, they're like, I'm trying to sort all my tasks, trying to make sure I'm delegating my time correctly. That was the biggest challenge, was trying to still show up for exams, show up for a lecture, and then also still too, there's an event going on that I have to organize after school. That was a lot to deal with, but it was through a lot of relying on my friends a lot in my community to help me.
So what can you tell a student who is out there thinking of starting a club or doing any leadership roles, and they're scared of doing that because of their life schedule? What can you tell them?
I would say first and foremost, if it's an idea that you have and you feel compelled, it's probably a good idea. And most of the time, you don't know where to start. And I think that's where a lot of ideas are shot down. Present those ideas to your friends. Run them by, what do you guys think if I started this club? Would you be a part of it? That's what I did initially. I ran it by my sister. I ran it by my family. We were going back and forth. I think it took me about 3 months after I decided I was going to make Aspiring Latino Leaders to actually get what is the name? What is the logo going to look like? What are we doing? What's our mission? And then it was an additional 6 months of just getting friends involved, community members. So I would go to your friends, I would go to your family in your community, and really build off from there.
Yeah. So I'm also Latino myself, so seeing you doing all these types of things is very inspiring. So my question is, why is it so important for Latino students to see representation in law, politics, or any leadership roles, and how can they begin in those spaces?
I think it's important for us to be in these spaces, first and foremost, to show others, to try to empower a lot of younger Latinos, but also just a lot of Black and brown communities in general, all vulnerable communities. I think we need to step up and use our voice when we can, and being authentic as well to your community, and not forgetting your community. Because I've seen that countless times where people, once they get into positions of power, they tend to forget the community that got them there. And so I think to be a public servant, not an elected official, that you're really indentured to your community, and showing that and involving your community as well, I think that sets a role model for younger Latinos to come up in the sense of community, in my opinion, and trying to empower others, not just yourself, because that creates a movement. It's bigger than just being an elected official for a cycle. It creates a long-lasting impact. And I think you can make a bigger impact even outside of electoral politics as well.
That's very true. I know you've answered this question in some ways, but I'm still going to ask you in a structured way now. So what advice do you have, and what advice do you want to give to students out there who want to create change on campus and in their communities, but they're scared of beginning something?
I would say that to really pull from within yourself. Like I said, if it's an idea that you have, if it's a thing that you're identifying that's an issue, there's others who probably share the same vision and same goals. Like I said, I was almost embarrassed to present Aspiring Latino Lawyers at first. I was like, people are going to think this is dumb. I went to the Guerrero Student Center. Shout out to the Cultural Resource Centers as well. But I went and I remember going to the launch event, and I was embarrassed to show off Aspiring Latino Lawyers. I was like, this is like, who's going to want to join this? It's too niche of an idea. But actually, there was a ton of students who wanted to join it. But even beyond now expanding to ASU, Pueblo High School, we even identified groups in Michigan, Yale, that there's similar Latinos with the same idea. We just never connected it. And so now I'm trying to use Aspiring Latino Lawyers to connect it even beyond the U of A to become more of a national movement of sorts.
So I think you're showing us that change leadership is always possible once you believe in yourself, which is true.
Believe in yourself, pull from yourself, and also really try to authentically lead. Don't forget your community.
That's true.
Or your friends, whoever that community is for you.
And also asking your friends, what do they think about your ideas? When you have an idea, don't hold it to yourself. Like, talk to others, which is so inspiring that most people are always scared to bring out. Even if it's something so because they're like, are they going to laugh at me? It's like, is it so embarrassing? But you're showing us that it's possible because you did that and it brought something very important to, let me say, the University of Arizona, and now you're expanding up to the Arizona State University.
And it led to richer friendships too. Friendships so that we're with people that I actually really enjoyed and liked, and we're still friends even to this day after the fact.
Thank you so much. We're so glad that you were able to spare some of your time with us today.
No problem. And also too, I apologize if I'm long-winded at times or anything like that, but I think if I had to get one message across to students is really truly try to believe in yourself. And also too that I think that a lot of people, there's good in this world. I really do think there is, and I think that with all the noise going on, it's easy to forget that. But there's a lot of people who care, and they will step up and stand up for you.
That's true.
I just want to say thank you again for joining us for our UAZ podcast episode 2. We hope today's conversation left you feeling inspired to lead, get involved, and believe in the power of your voice. Whether you're starting an initiative, running for student government, or just looking for a place in the community, remember, change starts with you. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep empowering one another. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.